Hey guys, this is James with Isotropic, and in this video tutorial slash live build, I'm going to show you how I create custom login pages, custom register pages, lost password pages, everything to do with the user registration process on WordPress. I'm going to show you how to create custom pages and making something that looks more like this. Nice little login page, something you would expect from any software as a service company or any company that offers a product, a login page just like this instead of your standard WordPress login page, which everybody knows what that looks like. It's your standard login page. You find it at wp-login.php, and it looks exactly like this. I think for some websites, and I think honestly for most websites, keeping this login the way it is more than fine, more than adequate. My agency website, the blog website, all of the tools that are used by me and my team, I haven't touched the login page at all, other than security, which I'm going to discuss in another video. But for some websites, setting up a custom login page that integrates directly with the WordPress login system is a great idea. Say, for example, you have customers who have a client portal that's built through maybe a membership system or something like that, and you just want to create a custom page, and you're using Oxygen Builder to do that. I'm going to show you how I do exactly this. I make a new custom login page, custom URL, which is typically website/login, and design it and build it all in Oxygen Builder. So let's do exactly that and get right into it. So the way we're going to do this is you have a couple routes, and there are a couple ways to do this. You could use a form plugin. So if you're going to go the form route, I would recommend WS Forms. If you go to the Oxygen Builder website, you will notice that if you go down to the customer login, this is a custom login page. Doesn't look like a WooCommerce login or a WordPress login. This is actually done with WP Forms, so that's another method. But the method that I use all the time is Theme My Login. So Theme My Login is a free plugin on the WordPress repository. That free plugin on the WordPress repository has everything you need with the free version to set up custom login, register, lost password pages. And then you can get additional things like a reCAPTCHA or profiles or something like that. I've never touched the paid add-ons, and I don't think you really need them for just a branded login page. So we're going to only be using the free version. So let's get into it. Let's make a login page and use Theme My Login. So Theme My Login, you literally just install it through your normal plugin page. Add new, search for Theme My Login. You get it on the site, and let's deactivate some plugins that we're not going to be using. All right, and you'll notice that I have Swiss Knife, which is an add-on for Oxygen. I have Hydrogen and Advanced Scripts. Those are the main three that I always use. And Theme My Login. So free plugin right now, version 7.1.2. We're going to get started right now and start creating our custom pages. So to do that, we're going to go to the settings page and enable AJAX requests. We're also going to set the login type to just be the default login type, registration type to be the default registration type. If we allow users to set their own password, this will go against the standard WordPress system that emails users' passwords. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm also going to auto login users after registration. And then I'm going to take note of these URL slugs. So with these URL slugs, the main thing to note here is that these can be changed, but I usually keep them the way they are because they match the standard slug that would be associated with that action. So if I'm trying to log into my website now, I can do that through the login slug. So my URL and then login. And then if I want to log out, register, lost password, reset password, all of that. So these are just things that you should note. The next step is creating the pages that will have all of these functions and features on them. So to do that, you literally just go in and create some new pages. I'm going to create an individual page for each of these slugs. So we got 6 slugs, 6 pages. So really quick, I'm going to do that. And then what we want to do here is match this slug. So we want the permalink of the page to be login, logout, register, lost password as this is written. Or we could change it to lost dash password or whatever we want, but I'm going to just keep it standard and we'll just create these new pages. So login, and then we'll do log out, and then we'll do register, and then I forgot what we got. We got login, log out, register. I'm going to avoid dashboard for now because I don't need it, but you can make a dashboard page if your heart desires, and then reset pass. And you may notice that I'm pasting in the slug directly into the heading here, and what I'm going to do is publish all of these pages now. And you might want to do it as a draft if this is on a live website, but this is just a demo site, so I can publish it to the wild web. And by doing this, by publishing it with this title, it just publishes. It means I don't have to change the permalink here. Our permalink matches. And then I'll just go ahead and change this to reset password, and then lost password. All right, so now we have our pages set up, and I'll show you that right here. These are all of the pages that we just set up. These are everything to do with Theme My Login. So now we're going to set up the actual login system, and we're going to design the login page using Theme My Login. The way I do this, and the way I've done this in the past, is there are a couple ways you can do this. First, we're going to be using a shortcode. So Theme My Login has a single shortcode, and you literally just paste this shortcode into any of the pages that are associated with the Theme My Login registration and login, log out. So any of these pages, and we just created pages that are associated to these URL slugs. Any of these pages, if you have this shortcode on that page anywhere, it will recognize that this is the logout page, and it will display whatever needs to be displayed for logout. If it's on the register page, you don't have to say anything but the base login shortcode, and you'll be good to go. Okay, I'm not going to do it like that. You can do it by just adding the shortcode to any of the pages. But what I'm going to do, because I want a standard design, I want a central location for that design, and I want one item of work rather than 6, I'm going to use the template system in Oxygen and just create a Theme My Login template. Because if we're going to be using the same design and the same shortcode in all of the pages, this just makes a lot more sense to me. So we're going to do Theme My Login. And on a normal site, I don't have any other templates or anything like that. On a normal site, I may include a header and footer template, or I may leave it the way it is, because a lot of login pages, they don't have that menu, they don't have that main logo, they don't have that footer anywhere. It's just your login page. So it's up to you when it comes to the design. So I'm going to just create this template and then edit it with Oxygen. Then to skip ahead, I'm going to show you, but to skip ahead, I'm going to create the login page with the associated shortcode, and then I'm just going to apply this template to all of the pages. So if you want to stop watching now and miss out on this live build, that's how you do it. And then you'd have a perfect login system working with your website. The thing to note here is that, there are a couple of things to note, and I'm going to go over the caveats at the end of the video. So if I remember when this is done rendering, I'm going to create a table of contents, make it easy for you guys to jump through. So what I want is a full page login page. So to do that, and I'm kind of going to just copy this Kajabi login page, and to do that, I'm going to just do a main section, set it to be 100% high. We're going to make our background, and of course, if this was a real website, we would be matching global colors and using our class system, but this is not a website like that. Now what I'm gonna do is columns, nice 50-50 columns, and then I'm going to align it in the middle and center it. And then we have 2 sides to this type of page. And I see this type of login page a lot. You have your main login, but then you also have either like a feed of blog posts or a message that the company wants you to look at or a case study that the company's linking to. I really like this type of split sign in or login or register page with just like a nice little message on the side of things. I think it makes things a little more personal. And especially with this Kajabi page, this is a real screenshot from the real Kajabi page. I like the fact that they are advertising their support to their customers. So that's just something to take a look at. So the way I'm going to do this is first make the login side, or the shortcode side, I should say, which will have the login form. It will also have the register form. It will also have anything else. And I'm going to use some standard heights here. So I'm actually going to do that to the columns, I believe, and set our height to be 500 pixels. And then here, I'm going to add an image and a div. Set that div to be 100%. And then in that div, I'm going to throw I'm also going to make this have a bigger padding of maybe 50 pixels. And then I'm going to take this div, and in that div, I'm going to do the shortcode. And then here, I'm also going to space this down by maybe 50 pixels. And then in this shortcode, I'm going to place the theme my login shortcode. And this isn't going to render because the system isn't, or maybe it will render, who knows. There you go. And this is going to render exactly like that. Then we're going to just add maybe a logo here. So let's just steal the Oxygen logo. I'm not Oxygen, so please don't sue me, or the image URL. So we're going to pretend we're Oxygen for this endeavor here. Set that to be maybe that width. And then we'll make you 100% wide as well. And then we'll also align the text to be centered and see if that does anything. Just like that. Perfect. And finally, I'm going to add a white background. I'm going to... Do we want this to be centered? Is the Kajabi board centered? No. Then we'll do it like that. We'll keep it exactly like so. Perfect. And now what we're going to do is work on the support side of things. And then we're going to come back here and use styles to CSS styles, or the selector detector if it works. I don't know if it will, to style this form. The one downside with ThemeILogin plus Oxygen is the fact that ThemeILogin does come with standard CSS, but it doesn't carry through due to the fact that I believe the Oxygen builder disables themes, and maybe that disables that. I'm sure there's a workaround to it, but in the past I've always just used my own CSS styling rather than pulling in the style sheet from an external resource or something like that. I've always just used this style sheet. But if you want to, you can use something like advanced custom or advanced scripts to get those default CSS styles and throw them into the site. But by styling it myself, I have more control over the site. Now what I'm going to do is add a cool background. So this is like a pattern background of mine. Like that. I'm going to go back here and say cover. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to also install a fade in effect of 150 milliseconds and just like a nice little fade. So when the page loads, we'll have this like kind of fade into the viewport. And then finally what I'm going to do is space you out by adding our 50 pixels of padding. Then I'm also going to go back and align you to the bottom. Keep everything left aligned, and then just for backup, align that to the left, and then add a heading 2. some text and need help. And then we'll just say, we have the best support, email support at support. And of course, you could change this message as you need. I believe this background is too light for us to do a white text, so we'll just keep it like this, make this a little bit bigger, and then make it bolder, just so it's a little easier to read. And of course, in a production site, it would probably be a bit different. The final thing I'm going to do to the columns is I've added that fade in effect. I'm also going to go back to effects and add a box shadow. So I always do this like standard box shadow of a black with a 15% opacity, and then an offset of 5 and 5, and then a blur of 30, and that kind of gives it a little good separation from the page. All right, so now I'm going to save this and kind of show you what it looks like on the front end. And this, again, doesn't have CSS styling, which is something that we're going to have to work on after applying it to the page. But I'm just going to show you how we attach that to these pages and make it work. So I don't know if I've published this template yet, so I'm going to first, okay, it is published. I'm going to just update the template. And then I'm going to go back to all of the pages that I've created that are associated with the login system. And first I'm going to reload them. I believe I don't need to save anything. I could be completely wrong. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is render the page using the TML template, or the theme my login template, which is the thing that I just made. And I made it as a template. I didn't apply anything to it. I didn't apply it to any pages on the template side of things, but I'm applying that template to all of these pages. And if you'll remember from the beginning of this video, the theme my login shortcode is on that single template, which is now applied to each of the login pages. And this shortcode will recognize what page it's on in accordance to the settings of theme my login. So if you remember now, we set up the login pages, or we actually didn't set anything up. This is the default, but you can change it to whatever you want. The pages, the permalinks of each page that we made are associated with these slugs, and that shortcode recognizes the fact that it's on the slug, and it will display the adequate fields and the adequate functionality that we need for users to log in to our site and register to our site. Okay, so that's that. And now, hopefully, when I update all of these pages and look at them on the front end of things, it'll be a login page. There we go. So now here's our custom Oxygen Builder login page. And of course, this isn't styled yet, so that's something that we'll need to do. And I'm going to do that in a few seconds. But this is the login page, and you'll see that here's the slug for the login, and here's your login feature. Now, if I want to go to reset my password, or if I've lost my password, what I would do now is go to the lost password page, and I'd go ahead and update it, and then get to that permalink of things, and here we'll see that it completely updates, and you'll see that nice little fade in effect. You'll see that it's a new field using the same template because it all has the same shortcodes on it. It's a new field, and this new field right here is the get new password field. So that's pretty cool. And then again, we have our register page. We should have our register page. We have our register page, which has the same template applied to it. And actually, I don't have registration set up on this site yet, and I'll show you how to do that right now. And you'll see that it says user registration is currently not allowed. So what I'll do is go to Settings, General, and just allow membership. So you can see the register fields with our custom template on them. So here's our register page. Oh, I guess we didn't update. Anyone can register, save those changes. Changes are saved. Go back to our register page, and there you go. So right now it's using the default register. Your password will be sent to you when you register, and as you may remember from the beginning of this video, you can also change that fact and make it so they can set their own password. And if we update that here, our custom Oxygen Builder login screen will update with that feature, just like so. All right, so that's the main thing. If you're building a custom login page, one more thing that I just noticed. If you're building a custom login page, that's how you'll do it. One additional thing that I just noticed now is the reason I wrap this in a div is so I can put an overflow auto on it, because as you may see here, this is pushing off the page, but I want the page to remain as a single card. And I haven't even thought about responsive design yet, but by doing overflow auto, I should be able to get that scroll going if it pushes off the page. I may need to set a fixed height here. So I'll set this to be centered, middle, add you to, and of course this isn't the right way to do it, but just for video time's sake, I'll do this. And now if it's over 400 pixels, it'll just show the scroll rather than pushing off the page. And I'd need to mess around with this more, but you get what I mean here. I'd add padding and stuff like that. All right, the final thing I'm going to show you is styling this form. So you can do it with style output. This is using the selector detector, which is disabled until you enable it, like so. Enable selector detector. And this, you can just click on the element and then style as you need to. So I believe I can just hop in here and set my background to be, there you go. And we're editing our fields as we speak. I'm going to make you, I'm actually going to set this to be like so. I'm going to remove that background. I'm going to make our border have a radius of 5, a width of 2, remain solid, have some padding involved in it. 5, or actually we'll make you 10, and then we'll just do 10 here, and you'll see if you type in here, now you have your padding. You can set your fonts if you would like to, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go right back in there. I'm also going to set the state to be, I think it's focus, it might be active. I'll set our borders to be a blue. So when you're focused on the field, that will change. And I'm also going to go right back to original and see if that, there you go. So that works as I would like it to work. And I mean, you get the idea. We just go to the individual element that we want to style, and then we'll style it. We'll set our transition to be all and 0.5 seconds. And I think that should make a nice little fade as we click on it, like that. And the final thing I'll just do is style our button to be nice and blue. So we'll make our background color that same blue as the focus color. We will remove the borders. No borders. Get that out of there. Set our radius to be 5. Set up our padding to be 10, 20, 20. Set the typography color to be white. And I'd also do some hover effects, but I'm going to leave that out for this tutorial. And keep it at that. And then finally, I'm going to just hit the list element. And then I'm going to get out of here. And then I'd change the list element. I don't know if I can do that right now. I'd change the list element to have a list style of none, removing that bullet point. And as you may notice, I'm on a tiny screen. And we will go here and we'll do list. I think I might need to find your UL instead of U, or instead of LI, none. There we go. But it still doesn't remove our padding, so I'd need to figure that out. And then I'll just save it and show you this on the front end. Then kind of just run back through this and then run through some things to consider before doing this, and then we'll call it quits. So here's our styled form, and you'll see that, I need to work on this a lot more to get it ready for production. But here's our styled login form now. And you'll see we have our nice little effects from the selector detector, our button. We just log in, log out, and if we're going on a private browser, this is what it would look like to somebody getting into the site. Additionally, so here's our little login page now. Additionally, wplogin.php now just redirects to your login page. So that's disabled, so you've completely white labeled the user system of your WordPress website. If you want to register, that is the same case here. If you lost your password, that's the same here. All of those links will go directly to these pages, which again are managed through. Let's just run through this really quickly again. We have installed ThemeILogin. We have set these slugs. We have created pages with permalinks that match those slugs. From that, we have created a template for ThemeILogin, which contains the shortcode as well as any of the styling that we want associated with the login system. And then we just simply apply that template to each of those 5 or 6 pages that have to do with the user system, and you're good to go. That's literally all there is to do if you're going to create a custom login page with Oxygen. One thing to note, so here's some caveats that I have discovered the hard way. When you migrate your Oxygen Builder website and you have ThemeILogin enabled, the shortcodes will be broken and your page will display nothing. It will show absolutely nothing, but the underlying feature of disabling WP Login will continue to work. What that means is that your login system will be completely broken and you will be unable to access your website unless you go in via FTP and disable the ThemeILogin plugin. To avoid that pain, be sure to disable TML before, just deactivate the plugin before you go ahead and migrate your website. And by deactivating TML, it just removes everything. The login page will not, it'll still have the template applied to it and it'll still exist, but you won't be redirected from wplogin.php to the login page, and you'll be able to get into your site using the normal method, and everything will work perfectly. Something else to note is that this isn't beneficial to security. There's no security hindrance here. It's the same system that WordPress uses. But if you're doing this for security, this isn't the way to go about it. You'd want to limit login attempts. If somebody fails at login 3 times or something at a specific IP, you'd blacklist the IP. You would have a web application firewall. You would have a content delivery network. You'd have all of this. This isn't really a security thing. This is just a looks thing. So if you want a cool looking login page like this, that's how you do it. You use ThemeILogin, you use Oxygen Builder. I hope this was a helpful video. If you have any questions, there is an attached article on the blog that has something that kind of walks through these steps again. And then, of course, you can ask me any questions you have in the comments. If you liked this content, I know it's long. I know many people aren't here. If you are here, you're a big fan. Drop a subscription, drop a thumbs up. We're getting to 1,000 subs, so that's the goal for the next week or so. Let's get to 1,000 subs, and until the next video, I'll see you. Well, I won't see you. I said that in the last video. I will not see you until the next video. Enjoy building with oxygen.